Hey friend, it's Mesha with a golden nugget of the day to help you along your way. Is it okay for a believer or a Christian to judge somebody else? You know, it's so easy for us to do it. Sitting in church or in your car or in your living room, wherever you are, listening to the word being preached, it is so easy for that word to just go right over our heads, for us to allow it to go right over our heads, and for us to think about somebody else in the midst of that sermon, especially when it's a word of reproof or rebuke. We're thinking of somebody else. Ooh, they need to be here to hear this message because this is for them. But the fact that you are the one there listening to the message, you might want to accept it into your own heart. We need to get used to examining ourselves. But listen, that's a whole different subject. Let's talk about judging because the Bible speaks about it. So let's discuss this from a biblical standpoint, okay? Go with me to Matthew, the 7th chapter. Now, I would love to discuss verses 1 through 5, but that's a little much at one time. Let's break it down. This week, let's talk about verses 1 and 2, all right? Read with me. We're going to read in the New King James Version today. They read, "Judge not, that you be not judged. For with what judgment you judge, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you." So what does it mean to judge? Well, dictionary says that to judge means to make an opinion of someone or a conclusion, to come to a conclusion about someone. So to judge, yeah, we can do that as Christians, as believers, because it's just to make a decision of whether something is right or wrong. We can do that. The problem comes when we judge unfairly or unjustly. Because as Christians, we know the difference between right and wrong. If you're reading your word and studying and you determine what God considers right or wrong, then you know it when you see it or if somebody does it to you. So it's not like we can just, we're to just shut our eyes or pretend like stuff isn't happening. Think about it this way. When Jesus was tortured and tormented and put on the cross to die for our sins, what did he say to our Father while he was on the cross? He said, "God, forgive them, for they know not what they do." He knew that they were doing wrong. It's not that Jesus was not aware of the fact that they were doing him wrong. He definitely knew that, but it's in how he chose to handle it. That's how we judge. We can judge by knowing what's right and what's wrong, but we can't do it unfairly. What happens when you do it unfairly or unjustly? The Bible tells us in verse 2, "For with what judgment you judge, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you." The Bible says, "Do unto others as you would have them to do unto you." This verse says, whatever you do to somebody else, that's what's going to be done to you. That's how it works. Don't judge people unfairly or unjustly, or it's going to come back to you the same way. So think about yourself when you're trying to judge somebody, when you're determining what's right or what's wrong. Think about if it were you in that position. How would you want somebody to treat you if you were doing wrong? And if God, if he happens to give you leeway or to give you a word to give to them, a word of correction, then you make sure you do it in love. That is our charge, to love one another. Yes, we can know what's right and what's wrong, but if God gives you a word to deliver, do it in love. We're charged to love one another. All right? So judge not, lest you be judged. Because with what measure you give them, that same thing is coming back to you. Let's continue this study next week. I love y'all. We'll talk next week.